My dad grew up in a small town called Lubango in southwestern Angola, Africa. He was born in 1961, and as a child, he spent most of his time in the dry open land playing with friends, but he also spent a lot of time hunting with his father. This story takes place on the 29th of December 1983, when my dad was just 22 years old. At this point in his life, he was working for a petrol company, driving a petrol tanker around the town to various petrol stations. Now this day started as any other, usual pickups here and there. At one particular station, however, he parked the tanker and headed inside the station so he could get a newspaper and maybe a possible cigarette, if he was lucky. My dad was familiar with all the different station clerks, and stepping inside this one, he was expecting to see the usual shopkeeper, Roy, but there was no one running the till. My dad assumed he was in the toilet cubicle, so he went to grab a newspaper. It was one from the week prior, which satisfied my dad enough. My dad figured Roy was just in the toilet cubicle and waited around 10 minutes for him to return, but he never did, so my dad decided to return to his truck. He was walking to his tanker as the sound of plane propellers filled the sky. This wasn't unseen, but it was rather unusual in Lubango, so my father decided to lean against the cap of his big rig and watch the plane soar by. My dad was so sad to see the juxtaposition of these destructive army planes with the backdrop of the beautiful Angolan sky. The planes were flying low over the Lubango military base, and my dad concluded there were two planes landing in the base after a battle of some sorts. My dad's wondrous expression turned quickly to curiosity as he saw two small black dots drop from the bottom of the planes. As the dots fell, my dad's face turned to dread as he watched the two planes fly far, far away. A loud explosion rattled his ears and sent him straight into shock. He looked at the fire cloud that surrounded the military base and watched as it crumbled and burned. He lay watching for half an hour as chaos ensued in and around his hometown. This was the moment that Lubango fell. Weeks later, they found Roy's body. It had turned out he had gone on a walk and was found by two South African soldiers who decided to interrogate him on the spot. He attempted to escape and retaliate and was shot dead in the process. This was a planned attack by the South African Army called Operation Clinker, and it can be found on the internet, although sadly, little information is written about it. I think this story is very important for people to hear, as the Angolan Civil War is an event in history that took countless lives and isn't talked about nearly enough. I believe people need to be educated on this historic event.